Today is Tuesday, August 6th. The Yankees are in the middle of a series against the Baltimore Orioles. We're not talking about that, or maybe we are. I don't know. We're talking about whatever you guys want to talk about. It is the voicemail app. Let's do it. Let's talk Yanks. Need the soundboard back, but I haven't gotten any closer to getting it back.
Right. The first step has not processed.
Did I tell you what intern Luke did?
Well, the first step technically processed. Yes, you dropped off the laptop, and then it didn't. Or no.
No, did I tell you what intern
Dad
Luke
didn't
did?
drop. Dad didn't bring it, yeah.
Did I tell you what Luke did before that? This is just Patreon. I edit this out.
I don't know.
So our buddy Ken, who works at the App Store,
Right.
he told us, oh, dude, yeah, all the batteries died in those versions of laptops. It's expensive to get the battery fixed. Just say that you have sticky keys and they'll fix that. So Luke sent his to Ken.
Right.
But he didn't ask me if I wanted mine sent because he thought Ken wouldn't be able to do two.
Yikes.
So he just got his fixed. And I was like, what? I could have just sent mine. So then the next week I tried to send mine with my dad, but I forgot. Now my dad's on a month-long trip, never going to go to Connecticut again. So I don't know. I'm almost like, should I just buy a new laptop? But then I have stuff on that laptop. I'm at square one. Like I haven't made a move.
Right. We got to mail it to Ken.
Basically, yeah. I got to mail it to Ken, and then he can get, or just to the Mac store and pay like $1,000. But yeah, I really would like the soundboard back, especially for editing the voicemail app. It takes it from a 30-minute edit to like an hour and 30-minute edit without it. But anyway, there you go, patrons. There you go. There's some behind the scenes. All right, what's up, everybody? Thank you for joining. Sorry we're a little later than usual. I was so dead. Sunday Night Baseball and recording after Sunday Night Baseball takes the biggest toll out of me and Jake. So in the future, if they have a Sunday Night Baseball game, we're gonna do the voicemail app. We're gonna have to change our schedules, just some behind the scenes, because it was impossible for me to even have my eyes open last night during that game. My head was heavy, so we pushed it back. A little daytime episode of the voicemail app, a little delayed. Sorry if we weren't there for you on your morning commute. We'll figure it out. But we got some fun stuff to talk about. I think I haven't listened to a voicemail. How you doing, Jake?
I'm good, Jimmy. This is Jake. Yeah, listen on your commute home today instead of your commute in, or, to get through that 2 o'clock to 3 p.m. feeling that we were just living that feeling yesterday. So, yeah, man, coming off a fun win. The normal guys did it for the Yanks. Valera, Gardy, Tauchman, Ford, Romine. So, Murderers Row 3.0. Is that what we're calling them?
Murderers Row 3.0.
Yeah.
Murderers Row. There's got to be a clever way to do it.
Yeah. Murderers Row.
Someone said we should make the usual suspects, but we should make the unusual suspects with like Ford, Tauchman, Geo, a shirt. It's not bad.
Those bathing suits that are now, they're like blown up versions of people's faces. Have you seen how you could do that?
Yeah.
I think we just do that, just a whole Breivik Valera line, just zoomed in really tight on his face.
I was going to make, the Tanaka shirt, that's an all-over shirt, has pictures of Tanaka all over it. I was going to make a version of that with your modeling pictures from Yankee Stadium.
Right.
But it would have been a decent amount of work, and then I was like, is anyone going to buy this, or is it just a joke to, like, share the link?
You're talking to them, so.
Who, me and you would buy it?
Well, me and the tens of thousands of people listening right now. But yeah, whatever.
Well, maybe I'll make it then. It's a funny shirt. I was just like, I don't know if I want to spend time doing this.
It's a good shirt.
All right. Voicemail episode. We got 19 voicemails. We'll see if we can get to all of them. Thank you to everyone who called in. Thank you to everyone who's been listening. We had kind of a benchmark goal for this season, what we wanted the downloads to get to by the end of the season, including the playoff bump, and we're there already. Kind of. Not like cemented in stone, but we've tickled the goal, and I'm pretty excited about it. So we thank everyone that's come by, every new listener that stopped by, and hopefully you stay for a while and enjoy some Yankees baseball and some Yankees talk with us. Let's get to the voicemail episode, Jake. This one's brought to you by my friends at Black Barrel Media. I already told you this last episode. I got to do one more shout out for them. I just tweeted it too. Jake, you should listen to the intro. It's so cool. So I had a couple of the details wrong. Black Barrel Media is a history podcast. They have Legends of the Old West. They did series on like Jesse James, on the shootout at the OK Crown Tombstone for history nerds. Now they're doing a baseball episode all about the Black Sox. So I listened to it again, and I have the details a little bit more correct from the prologue episode. So they would send the newsreels from continental U.S. to Alaska, to Klondike, Alaska, and they would watch all the film. They would watch all the film, but they didn't want to just get rid of the film because it's super flammable, and they didn't want to just throw it out. So they had a swimming pool that they used as an ice rink, and they buried all the film underneath this ice rink. And then in 2014, they got rid of the ice rink, and they just found like history.
Yeah.
And now they have film from the World Series, the 1919 World Series with the White Sox, and so like never before seen stuff in newspapers. And then this guy Chris went through it, and the whole season's all about that. So it's going to be awesome. I'm super excited. So go check out that Black Barrel Media. Boom. Nice. All right, here we go. Voicemail 1. Wow, Luke's kicking us off with a prime caller. TD.
Jim, Jake, it's TD from Madison, Connecticut. Carl Pavano, Keigawa, Jeff Weaver, Verlander, Cole, Keuchel, Corbin, Bauer, Stroman, Bumgarner, Gray, Happ. All these pitchers represent disaster signings, trades made, or trade not made. Decades. Now we've got a championship caliber lineup here, boys. Full of savages from top to bottom. Trades for Alfredo Garcia? Alfredo fucking Garcia? Remember that.
Don't you dare bad talk Alfredo Garcia.
Yeah, we are an Alfredo Garcia pod, so let's reverse engineer that whole voicemail.
Yeah, man, I don't know. When you really look at the list, so the Verlander one, in retrospect, I still won't like give cash crap for. No one wanted him. It was an albatross of a contract, and he was showing extreme signs of decline. Houston made a huge gamble, and they paid off like beautifully, like the best ever. But it wasn't a sure thing. Like it wasn't like everyone was like, "Go get Verlander. This makes sense." Cole, looking back now, and I know it's tough to do, not getting Cole for Andujar and Clint now is brutal.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
No, I thought you were gonna keep going down the list there, Jim. It's what's happened is, and I think I've got a good quirky Jakey comparison to start off. If you've played any video games, whether it's Madden or a basketball game, and like certain players, they have like the skill icon that pops up under them, like Kyle Korver catches in, it's like he's a 3-point shooter, or, Ed Reed's at safety, he's a hard hitter. Right now, if you were labeling organizations around baseball, the Yankees have this crazy ability to make hitters great. Who knows if it's letting the ball travel, contact rates, or just maybe finding these kind of second life guys who are 26, 27, 28. But we also have to realize, like, this is a new skill set. We weren't screaming that from 2013 to 2016, like, we can make anyone hit. This is a new development. The Talkmans, the Voits, all of that. So I would say going forward, something to definitely look out for is, maybe the Yankees do invest a little less into their hitting because they have this ability to find some gems, and maybe they will invest more into pitching for someone like a Patrick Corbin, who, by the way, that contract at the end of the day still ain't going to look great. And the other thing that's wild, Jim, is like, we're talking about our pitching staff like we already lost this season. And think about that. A lot of people said the same stuff about the Red Sox last year, and they put together an incredible performance, and nobody cared that their bullpen was a quote-unquote weakness throughout the season. Our bullpen's great. We have a couple guys that might be coming back. I think we were all a little surprised at first that we didn't get a starting pitching, but there's still a world where all of this works and it works really well. So, yes, I think going forward, because at the same time, as I mentioned, the Yankees have that hitting icon under their franchise where if you're 26, 27, we could change your career. Right now, Houston Astros have a pitching icon under their organization, and they can work that way. So it's tough. You're right. Verlander is thrown out. I might do like an op-ed one day about how Justin Verlander trade changed baseball because he could have been on the Yankees or Dodgers, Brewers, whoever wanted to take on that contract so easily. Houston gets him, and they've got something brewing there. But, Jim, this whole thing might work for the Yankees.
It hasn't failed yet.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right, next. It's TD again.
Hey, Joppo and Jake. That was an intense call. It's TD from Madison, Connecticut. I, for one, have trust in Brian Cashman. I think last week you demonstrated wisdom, leadership, and discipline as a general manager. Look, so we're practically asking for an entire prospect pipeline just for some marginal upgrade. I think we should wait and see how all this plays out before playing the blame game. Severino's coming back, baby. We've got playoff Tanaka, Domingo Germán, and look, Paxton might figure his shit out after all. We're going to be just fine. Suck it, Boston.
If that doesn't sum up Yankee fans, or at least my brain, and I think a lot of, like, the deadline was so negative, like, what the fuck? We didn't do anything? We didn't even send the message? And then you band together and you're like, you know what? Fuck it. We're all we got. We're all we need. Jared Saul wrote that on our Twitter page. I liked it. Let's fucking get after it. And we'll see. Because like you just said, Jake, we haven't failed yet. We're in first place.
Arguably the opposite of failed so far this season.
And I understand that our rotation doesn't scream playoff success as it is right now.
Right.
I understand that. But I think we have some interesting data coming on the next episode of Sharp Stats tomorrow, deep diving into past playoff rotations and what made them tick and what made them fail. And I think it's not going to be as bad as we think. But there's good 2 voicemails from TD there to show the emotions of the trade deadline and then winning 7 in a row right afterwards and sweeping Boston.
Yeah, and John Malope, I want to do another quick cross-sports comparison. Know what team was considered dumb and they never said you can't win that way playing their sport? The old Phoenix Suns with Steve Nash, Sean Marion, Amari Stoudemire. And guess what? They play like the Golden State Warriors. And the Phoenix Suns almost won the whole damn thing in 04, 05, 06, that range. Amari Stoudemire got suspended. Now basketball, everyone moves quick and shoots threes. So, like, the Yankees, if this bullpen crap works, and, I mean, we saw the Royals with a hint of it. They were definitely the first, like, 5-and-fly team. Because that's how we label baseball teams. But guess what? This Yankee stuff might be great, and baseball's already trending that way. So, yeah, it sucks that we're not looking out there and seeing Roger Clemens, Justin Verlander, one of those guys. But this, we're one of the favorites to win the World Series. This could be great.
Gotta wait and see.
We'll wait and see.
Hey, boys. Pat from Jersey. I'm hoping that this is old takes exposed, but I mean, fucking Cashman, what the fuck are we doing? Feels like we're just running a business now, not even caring about winning. I don't know. I know a spoiled Yankees fan, blah, 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 but, like, seriously?
Yeah, so maybe Pat's come back down from this, and this was his initial reaction voicemail. I will say this, and I hate this. It sucks we didn't get a pitcher. I still think like it would have been nice to get someone.
Right.
Like if we traded for Aaron Sanchez, is he coming over here and becoming good? Probably not right now. That's the part of the Yankees that they need to fix and develop and all that. Was Zach Greinke even an option? We don't know. And the answer is very likely no. Yeah. Was Bauer even an option? Like we don't know if Bauer was an option. No. Was Syndergaard an option? We have no idea. Like you can easily get inside the room with Cashman and have an honest Q&A, and he could say, "Oh, they straight up wouldn't trade those guys to us for anything." And then like, what are you mad at Cashman about then? But we don't know.
Yeah, I think the thing that did leak out would be Stroman. People would go back to that name, especially because he went to the Mets, and then it came out that they wanted Florial and Davey. Is that what they said?
So I changed my opinion because day of I said I would have done that trade,
Right.
and I still might have initially for Stroman from the Blue Jays. But when you think about what the Mets traded to the Blue Jays, and then saying, okay, well, would we exchange Florial and Davey? Was that the two?
Yeah.
Florial and Davey for those two pitching prospects from the Mets? Like, that doesn't equal up at all. So that was kind of the Mets and Brody Van Giem saying, like, you want Stroman? You could owe us this. And Cashman's like, but you just got him for that. Go fuck yourself.
Right. Yeah, Brody was definitely playing the game and try to make his first kind of flex as a trading GM. And yeah, man, I know the one thing that I might have to come down a little bit from our initial trade reaction was like, I wanted to see Davy Garcia be a part of this team this year and be impactful. And that's a lot of pressure for I think the youngest guy in AAA. And it might have been a little bit of a reach at the time. But again, there could be a day down the road where, Davy Garcia is a stud and Florial's a stud. And we're looking back and saying like, you know what? Thank God we didn't flip those guys for Stroman or whoever it is. So you do have to be patient a little bit. And I know sometimes, quote unquote, running it as a business seems bad. But if Davey and Estevan Florial turn out to be quality major league players, running it like a business might have been the right thing.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I was talking to Robert Pimpsner, who runs Pinstripe Prospects.
Sure.
And we were talking about Davey. And we're going to have him on the show eventually when we start doing interviews and stuff. And he told me that he talked to two scouts that said Davey will be in the bigs this year.
Yeah, and that's and imagine that if Davey came up and he threw a couple lights out innings. I mean, that would make people forget Stroman real quick. And I think again, like we've been talking about a little bit, now that we kind of buried the Red Sox, one of the biggest conversation is going to be playoff roster and what that looks like and how are we going to get to the bullpen. And two things, and I don't know if I'm jumping ahead. It should get my heart rate going a little bit, but basically the question is going to be, how are we going to be able to get to the fourth, fifth inning of a baseball game, which is insanity. But I mean, Mingo, he's still been solid. Will Tanaka figure it out? I don't know. Will Paxton figure it out? I don't know. Will Sevy come back? Maybe. Can someone like Davey get electric for a little bit and give some energy? Who knows? So I know a guy that, again, has a whiteboard with some different plans on it for October, Mr. Cashman.
I was doing the lineup building for the roster building, Jake, for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Which I know is so early. I hate that I'm doing this early.
Especially with the health involved.
Yes. But I did it with healthy. So I did it if Betances is healthy. And It's kind of crazy how little relievers like make it. Then really it's just like Holder's not on there. It's just Chapman, Betances, Britton, Otto, Chad, Canely. Then like CC and Happ. But I don't know if CC and Happ are going to be bullpen options or what their role would be. Lance Lynn went to the bullpen last year, so I think they'll do that with one starter.
Yeah, I think C would be it. I mean, it definitely gets complicated.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's gonna be fun to do that later on.
Yeah,
for real.
That voicemail didn't really make any sense, so here it goes. So Cashman talked about the Death Star. Then he didn't make a big trade. From a fan's perspective, it almost seems like we don't even know what he's trying to do. Why would he put those ideas in our heads? Just don't say it. I mean, we still know we got a good team. I'm just curious about what you guys think about what Cashman said and then what he actually did, because he's been saying you're pretty cool too. All right, talk to you later.
How about that? I've been saying forever that we need to stop putting stock into what Cashman says.
Yeah.
Stop putting stock into what anyone says.
He did a little more foot in his mouth type stuff this year with the Death Star quote. And like you said, when he talked about the starting pitching, he basically said it like it wasn't a complete entity, basically. To the point that when the deadline happened, it was like,
yeah,
Come on, Cash.
The Death Star thing, I have.
Yeah, and what if
wasn't
what
the
if
Death Star you envisioned? Sorry that your envisioning of the Death Star didn't map.
call up from AAA? What if we basically have 3 teams of offense that can hang with any team in the major leagues? Would that be a Death Star?
Well, I actually wanted to go like make a video of how many times in spring training they talked about the depth. Like, oh, we like our depth.
Right.
We built really good depth this offseason. Because Boone and Cash said it a ton. And it was like, what are you talking about? Because in our brains, we didn't see Gio Urshela as a depth piece. Like, it was like, what are you talking about? We didn't see any of these things. But that's what they knew in spring training when they kept saying, I like our depth. I like our depth.
Yeah. And it's I don't know, because spinning it back to the pitching, that's where everyone's going to get hung up. Again, like that Corbin contract could become ugly. In hindsight, the Garrett Cole trade, that's kind of the one that sticks out right now, especially because he is on Houston. But how many people had trades with Domingo Germán in it? And what if he's a cost-controlled, strikeout, quality starting pitcher going forward for the next 3-4 years? What if Davy Garcia? How many people had him in trades? What if he is the real deal? So again, like Death Star can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. People wanted Bryce Harper. Mike Tauchman's outplaying him right now. So how about that?
Mike Tauchman. Fucking love that guy.
Hey guys, it's Alex from Montreal again. So I was pretty pissed at the trade deadline, but started to change my mood a little bit afterwards when I saw the numbers for Cole, Verlander, and Greinke against the Yankees. So Verlander got a 3.55 ERA, 1.28 whip, .313, so a 313 batting average against. Not bad. Cole, 4.15 ERA, 1.23 whip, 1.67 batting average against. Not great. Greinke, 5.16 ERA, 1.36 whip, 2.86 batting average against. So obviously they're not unhittable for the Yankees. That batting average against for Cole is a little bit scary, but I think the point is they don't exactly own the Yankees. So I don't know. There might be a little bit of hope there. Wondering what you guys thought about that. All right, thanks. See you.
It's a good thought process to go down, and we are actually doing it with Katie on the next Sharp Stats. I will say this about the Verlander stats you had there. Those include Verlander's bad years, I'm guessing, because since he joined the Houston Astros, he shuts us the fuck down.
Yeah, throw Verlander out. We've tried different approaches and we haven't seen much. You want the spin zone of the year? If we face Houston in the ALCS, there's going to lead at any point. They're good because the Yankees lean on their bullpen and the Astros lean on their starters. It's not exactly rocket science or sharp stats per se, but it's a spin if you want it.
Spin if we want it. Yeah. But I don't know about Greinke and they're all good, so it's not like we own them. It's not like David.
Hey guys, Andrew from Hell's Kitchen. I was wondering what your deadline grades are. I'm going to give them a C+, and that's counting Edwin Maben and skipping out on Keuchel. I know the starting pitching market. They could have gotten some relievers better than Sessa and Nestor, so it's not a terrible deadline, but...
Great. It's interesting because what do you count? So Andrew was counting...
Cameron Maben, and he included not signing Keuchel.
Yeah, so... If you count all of those guys... Can we just count, since spring training additions? Because then it's a good grade. It's a fantastic grade. Because then you got Tauchman and Cameron Maben.
Yeah.
And there's someone else I'm blanking. Whatever.
Breivik Valera.
Yeah, Vicky Valera. No, Tauchman was technically Edwin. Tauchman, Edwin, and Cameron Maben. If those are the transactions that Cash made, those are all pretty good ones. They're working out. I don't know. What's the trade? C+, C? It's hard to grade.
If Davy Garcia, Florial, a couple other young guys turn out to just be terrible, we'll probably look back and be like, well, it would have been nice to have Stroman for a year and a half. Those guys all flamed out. So yeah, you can't really put a grade on the Yankees deadline as of now.
Yeah. It's true.
I'll tell Jim. I got a question for you because I have my thoughts on it. We haven't really discussed it in a while. What are your thoughts on Keuchel? Do you look back at that and kind of be like, I kind of wish we threw him in a couple extra bones just to have him, because he's been solid for Atlanta and he's definitely.
So I'd have to quickly conjure up some thoughts. I'm thinking about past, you know what I mean? Like, we didn't get Keuchel, over and gone with. I'm not going to think about it anymore because why?
Start. He has a three. He has a three.
Looking at his game log, we could have used this. We could have used this guy. 7 innings
No
pitched, 2
starts,
runs.
giving up more than 4 runs. Yeah.
Yeah, we could have used this guy. So that doesn't do me any good to have this thought. Now I think, we could have signed Keuchel. That's a negative thought. Why would I do it? We're in first place.
Yeah, Jim, for me, it's the only move that I can look back and firmly be like, damn, 1 year just to bring him in with no cost, really, just paying his contract. That's the only one that jumps out for me. And if you are really hung up on Death Star and all that, it just seems like you didn't have to give up any assets. You kind of know what you were getting into, and it was kind of a perfect fit for this team, seemingly. But it is gone. That's the only one that I'm a little hung up on.
All right, here we go.
Ben from Tulsa here. So this is just a few minutes after the trade deadline. Obviously, we didn't do anything. That's cool. It's really not cool, actually. But since Clint is here now, and we're dealing with a little bit of an injury bug, they just called it Breivik. I don't even... Who is that? Are they not calling Clint out strictly because of attitude? Or is it... I don't understand. I don't get it. Thanks.
Let's talk about Clint. There's so many reasons he's not being called. Gardner, Judge. Talkman's been... Fans won't accept. Talkman has proved more than Clint ever has in this stretch since May. And
offensively and
defensively. The stats back it up. The eye test backs it up. It's been better than Clint ever has in the major leagues.
Yes.
Cameron Maben's been great, and he's got no options. And with how many injuries we have, losing Cameron Maben would just be...
The clubhouse thing is important. He's been called a leader on this team.
Yeah, by people on the team.
And Clint might be the opposite.
So that's 4 outfielders. Clint can't play outfield, so he's DH/outfielder. Mike Ford can play first. So there's that reason. The minors past August 24th. I think they do. That's huge for the return they can get. If they have another huge... and then the third would be like his attitude. Upon stories of Clint, he originally got called up from AAA. The one piece of advice his AAA coach gave him publicly was, be a good team. The media thing last year, he hits a home run, no one cheered, and already having 4 outfielders loom large.
An extra year of service time, who's going to be a quality major leaguer. Right now, the book's still out on Clint. Again, I mean, people need to change their scope on Clint Frazier. Yes, he can hit. Nobody knows if he can play a defensive position ever in Major League Baseball. I just think it's the book has kind of been. But and Jim, the only thing that I think you missed is our infield is nicked up, man. So if you were just gonna play the DH card, by the way, played first and hit a home run, this injury bug. I've said it for a while now. Infield is nicked up right now, and we want to do everything we can.
There is a part of Yankees fandom. You think that's it? Like he just has the young fan base because of all the swag?
Yeah, man. I made the comparison to one of our friends in college the other day, who's not a very comparable guy, but some of his attitudes are comparable. And yeah, man, he's got the hair, he's got the shoes, he's got the chain, he's having a good time. He does stuff on.
I think I skipped some voicemails here.
If you could have a drink with any 2 Yankees that have passed, who would they be? Today, just thinking about Aaron Munson, and it would be my dad's birthday as well. So I was thinking he'd be having a drink somewhere with Thurman and the Mick. But anyway, what are your 2 choices? Just curious. All right, boys, keep it up.
Go out and have a drink with anyone.
Yeah, that's tough because stuff. But Bernie doesn't seem like the we're drinking beers. Let's ham this out.
Babe Ruth I'd be so like timid. It'd be like a mouse in the corner, just like, okay. Because I bet he was pretty abrasive. If you take 2,000, kind of like a lot, you know?
I mean, you could go Babe Ruth and David Wells, and David Wells
Thought about in the 90s, but his life was so secretive. Like back clubs kind of posted up at a spot, like Coney.
right. Coney's been a good time. Yogi had to be wise. Wow.
Yogi drunk must have been.
And some moonshine on the bayou. I could get into that.
You could get into that.
Yeah.
He brought up the fact that, hey, we may not do this thing to actually throw 13 pitchers. I'm like, what? So anyway, if you have line that up. Anyway, all right,
Boone said they're just take every pitcher and throw them one. I don't know. I need pitchers in one 9-inning game.
Can we do the fun playoff bullpen day if it actually happened? Let's go. Dellin for one in this world. We'll say Dellin's back.
Okay.
He comes around, gets that top of the lineup there. So that's Dellin for one. Let's get 2 innings out of Vino or Canely. Who do you want it out of?
1 inning each.
Okay, 1 inning each. That's fine. Missing 2 innings.
Okay. So Davey gets
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, I like that.
Hey, Jake and John Boy. Steve your answer already, but that we saw surface sources that are not overpaying.
Huh?
Steve thought he knew my answer, but I already kind of just that's their opinion for. Oh, fuck that.
After this Red Sox theory, because he's one of on Florial turn out at some point to Estevan, but we have it'll be decided in time, right?
Right.
And that's what I was saying. Both questions.
Oh.
Jersey City?
I'm moving to the city.
I don't know.
Me neither.
I don't know.
But we're looking at.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Eli from upstate. So back in March, I left a voicemail with 4 rapid-fire hot in city, so I'm going to call that one a win. The second, after trading for Trevor Bauer, hey, who knows, maybe they'll... Katie Sharp said that he's like playing like Mike Trout, if you've heard of him, since May 5th. I think we know the answer to this one, but I'm going to be positive and say the jury's still out. But we'll find out pretty soon, I'm guessing.
4.
Yeah, Jim, I appreciate the hustle there. John Boy dropped the looking at apartments. Exit speed swing, baby. Jim, and speaking of Mike Talkman, just 2 yabos last night, opposite field. He's got some swing going. You like that, Jim?
Yeah, so I think I don't know if we explained this well enough last episode, but exit swing developer, it's if you want to get into the cage and improve how the exit velocity, it's like this tool they have that helps build that up. So if you got kids that are into baseball, if you're still playing baseball in high school listening, if you just want to build up your exit speed to have a contest like Jake and I, you got to go get this exit speed developer. It's kind of like something like that, but
30% better. You know it's good. And Sanchez, because those guys exit velo. You know a ball player, or you just talking Yanks, all caps, baby.
I'm sure of it. 20% off. You buy this for your team.
For the league, they get kicked.
If you use the discount code to buy it, is every time when a kid on your team ropes a ball, instead of like, Kobe.
Out, thank them. Back to the voicemail. Kyrie Irving to the Knicks. Nailed it. He's on the Nets. Nothing low, which they dominate the other 10, so good for them. What else were we double down? Reds winning a Is that official?
No, but this is actually huge, and this is why Eli's calling in. One of his hot takes.
As of today, he's one of the best players on the Yankees. I mean, he's still even in
Talkman has the highest OPS on the Yankees, and the second percentage on the Yankees.
He's been great. I kind of want to reach out to our friends that
fourth in batting average on the Yankees. He's
a monster. It's mind blown. Are they sad? Are they happy?
Yeah. Intern Luke labeled that voicemail he's a psychic.
I'll kind of know your answer already, but looking
we already did this one.
Not making the deep,
this is gonna.
430 logic is for not going out. Really couldn't give a shit what your reactions are.
Yeah, so we've kind of been over this already, but my reaction Yankees.
Yeah.
Stroman was being offered for a ransom price, where Brody was going to flex his nuts on cash.
The other thing that was happening that hasn't been fulfilled, Astros were a strong team. They were looking for some help. I mean, every team's looking for some help. The Dodgers, they're a strong team. They were looking for some help, but no glaring holes. The Yankees, the glaring hole would be listed as starting pitching. So teams with the hard trade deadline were like, here's our price, Cashman. You're going to have to pay one of us. And he just went double birds. And he said, no. We've got guys we believe in. Like, I'm not just gonna super overpay for Robbie Ray. Sorry about it.
What's up, Talking No Cormier of the sports podcast world? You got two up there in the top charts. You guys are the champs. So congratulations on that. Had a quick question for you. Big Papi Gordo might be a little more familiar with this because, he's into the video gaming. Shout out to Mazer Gaming, by the way. There's a Mario game, Super Mario game, that has to do with baseball, and, you're essentially playing baseball with all the Mario characters. Each of the characters has, like, this special power that they can set off under certain conditions. If you guys had to give the Yankees lineup, a special power, what would it be for each person? And, they obviously can't use it all the time. It has to be under a certain condition. But what would each player's special power be? Love you guys. Keep up the good...
Through this. Superpowers?
It'd be like if it was a basic video game, it would be like Aaron Judge and Carlos Stanton. They'd have like a bicep below their picture, and it's like, this guy's got super strength.
Okay.
So it's what would these guys' special powers be? Like one jumping to the top of my head would be like Glaber would have a puppy dog below him, and so if he made a great play, like he'd have a big smile and he'd be having the time of his life. If he ripped up like a bunch of toilet paper, he would be a sad Glaber. So like Glaber's talent under his icon would be just a puppy dog.
He might have ripped up a ton of toilet paper when he went to take that huge shit at the hospital the other day.
Yeah. Been there.
Okay, so puppy dog counts as a superpower?
I think so. Like that would be his like icon under him.
Okay, give me a player. I'll tell you what their icon would be.
Gio Urshela.
Gio Urshela would have a glove.
Yeah, I'm saying. Well, that would be like in a real video game. I'm thinking like maybe Inspector Gadget. Would that be an icon? So then like every now and then there's just a ball he grabs out of nowhere, something like that.
I couldn't.
Gary Sanchez, maybe something with his arm. Video game. I'm trying to get us into the silly weeds because I don't think an actual baseball.
I'm lost.
Okay.
Totally lost man. The Inspector. Talkman and Canely, I think, just
team.
Yeah, just a bunch of yellers.
They have a teammate get hit by a pitch, like their powers are up 10% the rest of the game because they're going to be super locked in.
Intensity notch.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're there.
Hi, it's Jay from Seattle. I was pretty upset when the deadline passed about getting a starter, but a few days of reflection, my kind of natural optimism has taken over. So I was kind of thinking, like, shouldn't every game in the playoffs basically be a bullpen game? We have this ridiculous bullpen, especially if we can get Severino and Betances back, to where, we should be basically closing every single game with, Canely, Britton, Betances, Chapman, Ottavino in some way. So I feel like basically we could use one or two pitchers, two or three pitchers to get us through to that. I don't know. Just let me know what you think about that. That's kind of what I was thinking. Love the show. Congrats on all the success you guys are having.
Yeah, we kind of laid that out there in the Sharp Stats episode. Like that's kind of what the playoffs are, unless you have one of those upper echelon guys, Verlander, Sale, or Kershaw, even who he's not really done it. Like and there's not a lot of those guys. There's like less than 10 in the league. Walker Buehler was one last year, but there's less than like 10 of those guys in the league, and the rest of the playoffs is get it to your bullpen after like 2 times through the order. Rich Hill had like a no-hitter in 2017. And
kind of the dream for a little while, kept doing what he'd done this season. I was going to say that's not a perfect comparison, but it almost is. Like you have to earn your keep.
Yeah. Compared to the league, they're pretty good. 3rd time through the lineup, but maybe they expect Betances back, and maybe they do expect Davy Garcia to help. Still, now just to let everyone know, I don't think it's going to last. I'm not buying in, but if
Connecticut, I've listened to the last Talking Yanks episode. The low strikes and missed calls, whether it's a should have been a ball, should have been a strike. I grew up a catcher, and it takes away the skill of the catcher, the frame into that part of the game. Like, that is what makes some catchers great, and they help their pitcher. The verbal ump takes that away. I completely understand that they miss calls, and that it sucks when that happens, especially being a Yankees fan and watching Aaron Judge get mid-shin stress all the time. But it just takes. They help their pitchers. They help their team. I tell the kids I coach, catch the outside of the ball, bring it back.
Thanks. I like the human element of the game outside. I've always enjoyed that and defended it, but we're getting to the point where the quirks of a human calling it are not
fully went off for me, and I think what this caller's referencing is the percent strikes and died and those 8 pitches could be very huge. So I'm baseball where maybe you get 2 appeals, and if some of the pitches aren't getting called, it's going to decide a game of baseball. And I think when you're talking little league and expanding the zone, yeah, you kind of need to do that to let the kids learn how to become part of the game. And primarily because there was a missed strike 3 call that threw another pitch, and then there was a home run. I bet you'd be okay with.
They are announcing replay becoming a real thing, and they did an article. It's going to be way better, and it was like they got 60% right. It was so bad. I remember too hard.
Yeah,
like 100-mile-per-hour pitches that break 2 feet in the middle. Somewhat of an impossible task, and if robots can do it, eventually they're going to have to do it.
Yeah, or just get them involved a little bit. If all right, what if 3 of those are the only really bad misses, and we can correct those? I think that would be a huge.
So I have a little theory that's brewing in my mind about how Boone loves giving guys rest days. I think that all of the rest days have allowed they're comfortable. Thanks, guys. Let me know what you think.
Now and then, but by giving the breathers, the bench players are then more. It's not like 2009 where Ramiro Pena literally never played them to be better. I buy it. I don't know if that's the goal. It could be an offshoot result. Why not?
Yeah, and it's I laughed last night. Someone I did one of the IG question stories, and someone was like, "Is Aaron Boone the manager of the year?" It's like, how much difference does a year make? And I said blessing in disguise. It's the wrong phrase, but everyone being hurt and guys like Mike Ford and Breivik Valera contributing, and now Boone's an incredible manager. I mean, it's just a ridiculous mindset people need to wrap their heads around. I'll tell you what's going to be insane, Jimmy, is if people start getting healthy. Man, goes into like a week-long slump before the playoffs.
Do you not think Boone's the manager of the year, or did I interpret that wrong?
Oh, no, I do. But which Boone has very little effect over.
I think he's got effect over instilling confidence in these young guys. Like we said.
How much of that put on Boone and not the organization as a whole, Well,
he's part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. But, I mean, I think end of the day, I don't think it's a giant percentage point.
Oh, I give Boone a good amount of credit. I think his style has been instrumental in allowing these young guys to get called up, get playing time.
Yeah, I mean, from a positivity standpoint, but again, it's like you can't for the managers, you just can't get too high or low on it for me. And if Vic Valera or Mike Ford or Mike Talkman, again, I was laughing the other day about Luke Voit getting thrown in right field in one of his first games with the Yankees. It's his only professional inning of right field. Might be his only inning of right field in his life. So, I don't know. I can't only give Boone so
to managers on the good side for anything.
I mean, it's what you said. I just have obviously the guys are eating that up, so he gets credit for that. But I mean, player performance on the field, I'm only giving so much to Aaron Boone.
Yeah, I think players deserve majority of the credit all the time.
Right.
But I do think he's a lock for manager of the year.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how the season should be a finalist. Maybe he gets screwed by the Yankees. Maybe he gets a boost by the Yankees and all the injuries and all that.
Managers, then I think he's a lock. But is it the beat writers? I forget. Maybe it's a combo. I keep forget. Manager of the year.
Yeah, they always.
This is the last question anyway. In Major League Baseball, the manager of the year is honor given best manager. The winner is voted on by 30 members of the baseball writers, so it's the same. Has been on the IL.
Yeah.
And it's more than some other teams have in their 40-man.
Right. And there'll be a Yankee stigma. It'll depend a little bit how the Rays and.
All right. That ends this episode of the voicemails. We appreciate you guys for tuning in and hanging out with us. There's a lot of voicemails. We didn't get to all of them, but we thank you for calling in, and we will be back again tomorrow with Sharp Stats with Katie Sharp. Apologize again for the late release today, but we thank you for listening as always. See you later. Go Yanks. Tell them, Grams.